Imagine standing face to face with someone from 100,000 years ago. Not a museum exhibit, not a fossil reconstruction, but a living, breathing person, looking right back at you. Could you have fallen in love with them? Could they have found you attractive? It's a question that feels almost absurd, a leap across a chasm of time and culture so vast it seems impossible to bridge. We automatically picture rough, unkempt figures, perhaps more akin to caricatures than companions. But what if our modern lens blinds us to the real story? The truth is, our ancestors weren't just people from the past. They were Homo sapiens, just like us, navigating a world unimaginably different, where every physical trait, every social cue, every subtle signal carried the weight of survival. And what was considered attractive wasn't just a matter of preference. It was a matter of life or death, encoded in their very bones and behaviors. For most of human history, beauty was not about symmetry for symmetry's sake, or skin tone as a fashion statement. It was a brutal, beautiful advertisement of health, resilience, and fertility. Think about it. In a world without medicine, without supermarkets, where every day was a fight against hunger, predators, and the elements, what would you look for in a partner? You'd look for someone who could survive, someone who could hunt, gather, protect, and raise offspring to adulthood. These weren't abstract qualities. They manifested as very real, very tangible physical attributes. Consider the sheer physical robustness of our ancient ancestors. Their bones were thicker, their muscle attachments more pronounced, their teeth larger and more worn. This wasn't some genetic quirk. It was the direct result of a lifetime of intense physical labor, a diet of tough, unprocessed foods, and constant movement across varied terrains. A strong jaw, a prominent brow ridge, a broad skeletal frame. These were not flaws, but badges of honor, silent testimonies to a life lived fully and successfully in the wild. A perfectly straight, white smile, for instance, a cornerstone of modern attractiveness, would have been utterly alien and likely even suspicious to someone from the Stone Age. Their teeth would be stained, chipped, and worn down from chewing tough roots, raw meat, and using them as tools. A full set of teeth, even if imperfect by our standards, signaled good health and the ability to process food, a critical skill for survival. Losing teeth meant starvation, a swift decline. So, a mouthful of strong, if rough teeth, was a beacon of vitality. Their skin, constantly exposed to the sun, wind, and dirt, would have been thick and weathered, often scarred from encounters with nature or the occasional conflict. Yet beneath that rugged exterior, a healthy glow, a certain elasticity, would have been prized. Not the porcelain smoothness we often associate with beauty today, but the kind of vibrant health that screams, "I can endure." Pigmentation would have varied wildly across the globe, adapting to local UV radiation levels, but the common thread was skin that could protect and heal. And what about their hair? Uncut, unstyled, often matted and thick, it would have been a practical shield against the elements. Longer hair might have signified maturity or social status, but practicality would always trump aesthetic. The idea of carefully sculpted hairstyles or meticulously shaved faces would have been not just impractical, but a dangerous waste of precious energy. But these physical differences, as striking as they are, only scratch the surface. Attractiveness then as now was never solely about what you saw. It was about what those features signified, what stories they told about the person beneath them, and perhaps most importantly, what hidden attributes they advertised. And these hidden attributes might surprise you even more than their formidable jawlines. The true currency of attraction in prehistoric times wasn't a symmetrical face or a slender physique. Though health was always paramount, it was the silent whisper of survival, the undeniable promise of a future forged against relentless odds. Imagine a world where every sunrise brought new dangers, a lurking predator, a dwindling water source, and every sunset a deeper, bone-chilling cold. In such a stark reality, what truly drew one person to another wasn't the superficial glint of a perfect modern smile, but the sharp, observant glint of intelligence in their eyes, the profound ability to read the landscape like an open book, to track elusive prey through dense forests, to remember with certainty which berries offered nourishment and which meant certain death. This wasn't merely useful, it was life-saving, a skill passed down, and that in itself was profoundly, viscerally appealing. Consider the master toolmaker. His hands, though calloused and scarred, moved with almost balletic precision, transforming rough flint into a razor-sharp blade capable of skinning a mammoth or carving intricate designs into bone. Or picture the relentless hunter whose silent, ghost-like footsteps move through the undergrowth, bringing back the vital bounty of meat and hides that fed and clothed the entire tribe. These individuals weren't just performing tasks, they were the very pillars of their community, their existence a living testament to their invaluable, life-sustaining skills. Their attractiveness wasn't found in physical form alone, but in the tangible ripple effect of their actions. The full bellies, the safer, more robust shelters, the collective security that only such prowess could provide. But it wasn't just about physical strength or manual dexterity. Think about the wisdom keeper, the one who remembered the ancient stories, the migrations of animals, the cycles of the seasons. Their memory was a living library, safeguarding generations of accumulated knowledge, ensuring that the tribe wouldn't repeat past mistakes or miss crucial opportunities. This individual, often older, perhaps bearing the marks of time, held a magnetic appeal, born from their indispensable understanding of the world. Their words weren't just entertainment, they were a lifeline, a map to navigate an unpredictable existence. And what about the individual who brought laughter and joy? In a world constantly teetering on the edge of scarcity and danger, the ability to lift spirits, to foster camaraderie through song or dance around a flickering fire, was profoundly valuable. A cheerful disposition, a knack for storytelling that transcended the daily grind, could bind a group together, turning individual struggle into shared resilience. This wasn't a frivolous trait. It was a psychological anchor, a reminder that even in hardship, there was still connection, still hope. Such a person might not have been the strongest hunter or the most skilled artisan, but their presence was essential for the tribe's emotional well-being and social cohesion. They made life, quite simply, more bearable. And that, in its own way, was undeniably attractive. So, when we look back at our ancient ancestors, perhaps the question shouldn't be, were they attractive? In our modern, often superficial sense. Instead, it should be, what did they value as attractive? The answer, it seems, points to a deeper, more profound appreciation for qualities that ensured survival, fostered community, and enriched the harsh tapestry of daily life. It was a beauty born of utility, intelligence, and a vibrant spirit. The subtle cues of a healthy immune system, yes, but also the unmistakable signs of a mind that could innovate, a spirit that could endure, and a heart that could connect. These were the true beacons in the primeval darkness, drawing individuals together, ensuring the continuation of their lineage, and ultimately ensuring that we, their descendants, are here today to even ponder such questions. This perspective flips our contemporary notions on their head, doesn't it? We often prioritize external polish, symmetry, and fleeting trends. But for our distant relatives, attractiveness was a language spoken through actions, through contributions, through the silent testament of a life lived with purpose and skill. It was less about a perfectly straight nose and more about the innate ability to smell danger from afar, less about a sculpted physique, and more about the endurance to outrun a threat or carry a heavy load for miles. It was a pragmatic allure, deeply rooted in the raw, unfiltered reality of existence. To truly understand this, imagine yourself transported back in time. You're part of a small, vulnerable group. What qualities would make you feel safest, most hopeful, most connected? Would it be someone with flawless skin, or someone who could reliably find water in a drought? Someone with perfectly aligned teeth, or someone who could tell a story that made you forget your hunger for a few precious moments? The choice quickly becomes clear. It's a choice driven by necessity, yes, but also by a deep, instinctual admiration for competence and character. And in that raw, unfiltered environment, character and competence were the ultimate forms of beauty. This wasn't about fleeting infatuation. It was about building a future, one generation at a time. It was about choosing a partner whose strengths complemented yours, whose presence guaranteed a better chance for your offspring, whose very being was a testament to resilience and ingenuity. And in that crucible of survival, what could be more attractive than the promise of life itself, vividly embodied in another human being? This wasn't some abstract ideal whispered in quiet contemplation, a luxury of abundant leisure. No, it was a lived reality, a visceral, undeniable force that pulsed through every interaction, every shared breath around a flickering fire. Imagine the raw, earthy scent of healthy skin, not masked by perfumes or synthetic fragrances, but radiating the subtle pheromones of vitality, of a body free from disease, capable of endurance. It was the smell of competence, of someone who had just returned from a successful hunt, carrying the very essence of survival. Or perhaps the calming aroma of herbs they used to soothe a child's fever. These weren't mere details, they were profound signals broadcast across the ancient landscape, speaking a language far more profound than any spoken word, stirring an instinctual recognition deep within. The way someone moved, the quiet confidence in their stride as they navigated treacherous terrain, or the steady, unwavering gaze they held when recounting a dangerous encounter. These were visual cues of immense value. The curve of a smile wasn't just an aesthetic pleasantry. It could signify a generous spirit, a willingness to share a scarce resource, a calm demeanor in the face of chaos. And the voice, not just the melody, but the stories it told, the comfort it offered, the authority it commanded when warning of danger. Every feature, every gesture, every sound was a chapter in a living story, a testament to a person's worth not just as an individual, but as an indispensable part of the fragile collective. When a hand reached for yours in that distant past, it wasn't just skin meeting skin, a fleeting touch of superficial warmth. It was the weight of shared burdens, the silent promise of protection against the unseen terrors of the night, the warmth of an unbreakable alliance in a world teeming with danger and uncertainty. Attractiveness, then, was less about a static image captured in a moment, and more about a dynamic, ongoing performance, a continuous, observable display of traits that fostered trust, ensured safety, and guaranteed the perpetuation of the lineage. It was a constant, unconscious evaluation, an unspoken referendum on one's capacity to contribute, to survive, to truly thrive amidst the relentless challenges. This primal attraction wasn't merely about personal gratification or fleeting desire, the kind that fades with the setting sun. No, it was about the very fabric of existence, the intricate, delicate dance of genes across countless generations, the decision to bond, to share life, to brave the wilderness together and raise offspring, carried an immense, almost sacred weight. It was a choice that reverberated through time, determining not just the fate of two individuals, but the resilience, the adaptability, and the very future of the entire group, perhaps even the species. Every successful pairing was a profound victory against oblivion, a flickering beacon of hope in a world that offered no guarantees, where a single wrong choice could spell disaster for everyone. Contrast this raw, uncompromising reality with our modern world, where the illusion of infinite choice reigns supreme, and physical perfection is often curated, airbrushed, and digitally enhanced to an almost absurd degree. We chase fleeting ideals, often entirely divorced from any tangible measure of health, competence, or profound character. Our screens present us with an endless parade of unattainable images, fostering a pervasive sense of inadequacy, rather than a recognition of intrinsic vital worth. The ancient gaze was unsparingly direct, seeking truth in action, in proven ability, not in artifice or manufactured appeal. It saw beyond the surface into the very soul of survival. The real revelation, the profound, almost unsettling truth then, is this. Ancient humans weren't just looking for someone to admire from a distance. They were looking for someone to rely on with their very lives, with the lives of their children, with the future of their tribe. Their attraction was a sophisticated, intuitive calculus of survival, an unconscious, yet incredibly precise assessment of genetic fitness, social utility, and enduring spirit. It was a beauty forged in the crucible of daily struggle, polished by countless acts of courage and resilience, and illuminated by the fierce, unwavering loyalty to one's kin. It was a beauty that promised not just pleasure, not just fleeting joy, but life itself, sustained, protected, and perpetually renewed. And this, perhaps, is where the deepest tension truly lies. We, as their descendants, carry the indelible echoes of these ancient preferences within us, often buried deep beneath layers of modern cultural conditioning and societal expectations. The inherent longing for strength, for genuine kindness, for undeniable resourcefulness, for profound, authentic connection. These are not new inventions of our complex minds. They are primal whispers from a time when these very qualities meant the absolute difference between mere existence and utter extinction. They are the undeniable core of attraction, stripped bare of all adornment, all luxury, all pretense. But what happens when the very environment that forged and demanded these profound connections begins to shift so dramatically? What happens when humanity finds itself in an era of unprecedented comfort, of surplus, of seemingly endless abundance? Do these ancient echoes still resonate with the same vital urgency, or are they slowly, irrevocably lost in the overwhelming clamor of a new kind of beauty, a beauty that promises fleeting satisfaction, but rarely the fundamental security our ancestors craved with every fiber of their being? The truth, as often happens, is far more intricate than a simple dichotomy. While our modern world inundates us with images of a beauty often detached from the rigors of survival, a beauty curated for screens and fleeting impressions, the ancient echoes are not entirely lost. They have simply adapted, often subtly, to a new landscape. The resourceful hunter of the savannah might now be the innovative problem solver in a boardroom, or the creative artist who builds worlds with their mind. The fierce protector of the tribe can be seen in the unwavering support of a partner through life's challenges, the nurturing caregiver and the boundless empathy and kindness offered to those around us. These primal urges, once so overtly tied to physical prowess and tangible provision, now manifest in qualities like ambition, emotional intelligence, stability, and a deep, authentic capacity for connection. We still seek partners who are competent, reliable, and fundamentally good-hearted, even if the definition of competence has evolved from tracking game to navigating complex social and professional ecosystems. Our brains, remarkably, are still wired to scan for signals of health, vitality, and the potential for a stable, fulfilling future. Only now, those signals are interpreted through a different cultural lens, often obscured by layers of aesthetic trends and superficial markers. The tension, then, isn't that ancient attraction has vanished, but that it competes fiercely with a manufactured ideal. We are caught between the deep, resonant hum of our evolutionary past and the dazzling, often empty, promises of instant gratification. The challenge lies in discerning the signal from the noise, in recognizing the enduring value of a kind spirit, a resilient mind, and a loyal heart over the transient allure of what merely glitters. It's a journey back to basics, a reevaluation of what truly sustains us beyond the surface. So, perhaps ancient humans weren't just attractive in a way we'd recognize from a magazine cover. They embodied a profound functional beauty that promised security, partnership, and the continuation of life itself. And in a world that increasingly values the ephemeral, perhaps it's more crucial than ever to listen to those ancient whispers within us. They might just be guiding us towards the kind of connection that truly endures, the kind that built civilizations and carried our species forward. What do you think truly makes someone attractive today? When you strip away all the modern artifice and listen to those deeper ancestral calls.